Not really. It belonged to Fox. Fox came to me in 2006 and asked me to do a sequel because Michael Douglas wanted to. You see, it was Michael Douglas who emerged from the movie with an Oscar. So, and everyone in Hollywood likes Gecko because he resembles many of the producers there. So it was always the Gecko character, you see. So they all wanted more Gecko, and I passed. I passed on it. I said I don't want to celebrate a bunch of pigs because I thought Wall Street had gotten out of control. And only after the recession, the Great Recession of 2007, 8, that's when I went. They came back again, which Michael still wanted me to do it with him, and I accepted. They had two screenplays. One was better than the other, and I worked on that one. But I was from the get-go. I was operating inside a parameter that was dictated by the president of Fox, who Andy Vanya knows very well, who was recently let go, Tom Rothman. Tom Rothman, as with Fox in general, was known as a very controlling studio. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Very controlling.
Well, I think
story, everything. And it was a strange experience for me. But once he trusted me, he let me go a little bit. But, I've never worked quite that way. But I did the movie, and I think it's I did it. I'm very happy with it. I think it was a very slick movie because that's what New York was. New York had become even slicker than back in 1987. So I wanted those surfaces.
There is another question.
It could happen in a life of a film director that he could feel that he would change something, if it would be possible, to make the movie better, to change something, just like the style of the movie, just like the script of the movie, change something of his past movies to make the movie better. Do you have such a feeling? And if yes, what is the most meaningful one? What you would change if it would be possible?
Is there anything that you could have that you would change if it would be possible in your work? Anything among your films, among your works?
Yeah, I've done that. I've committed myself to Alexander from the get-go, and the 2004 release was rushed. I didn't have a lot of editing time. It had to meet Warner Brothers requirements of very little homosexuality, the cutting out of the eunuch, very little. They cut all the violent scenes. There was so many demands on that. It had to be under 3 hours. I put it out, and I got it did okay in Europe and Asia, but not so much in the States. I went back 3 years later, and because I really cared about the script, I put the movie back in the shape in which the script was done. In other words, I changed it to try to get it under 3 hours. It should never have been under 3 hours. It had to be a 4-hour movie, a 2-part roadshow movie, and I made a 3-hour, 45-minute version in 2007, which was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and is actually sold very successfully. No one knows about it because none of the European distributors are willing to. Who knows what their reasons are, but they'd have to dub it and so forth. But anyway, there is a 2007 version on American Amazon and on British Amazon available. I'm very proud of it. It's sold very well, and Warner Brothers just recently asked me to do a 4th version, which I will do next year in 2013. Will be the 4th version, which will be. In other words, it is a life's work, and I think there was something in that movie that I didn't get the first time, and I really wanted to get it. So I've been doing this. This is my 4th version now, and I've enjoyed it very much, and it's great to see something that one day I hope will show on a big screen and come to life for everyone the way it was intended to.
Thank you. There.
Mr. Stone, I'd just like to ask you a question about the casting of Wall Street, if I may. It's fairly unique that you get a father and son playing a father and son in the film. How did it come about that you got both Charlie and Martin Sheen in the film? And did it prove to be an advantage or a disadvantage for you as a director?
No, I wanted. Cut out. Hello? You hear it? Yeah, no, I had Charlie. I had Charlie. Yeah? I had Charlie, and said it makes sense to go to the father, who looks like a labor leader, very humble-looking man, and there was no problem. It was Charlie and his father had a relationship that was interesting, and I think we got some of that on the screen.
And how did you find the name Gordon Gekko? How did you find it out?
I don't really remember. I mean, I think geckos are beautiful little animals, but I thought, I just thought there was something lizard-like about him. And his chameleon-like in his. Also, Michael's got those relatively big eyes.
So you named him after him?
It's that was a bit eureka. I mean, I didn't think anything of it. It was just a name, and all of a sudden people liked it. So
Yeah,
it shows
great.
up in columns, in political columns, all the time, as if he existed.
Okay.
Funny that way.
There are plenty of questions there. The guy in the red T-shirt.
Red T-shirt, back row.
Thanks. So I'm trying to be not too critical with my question, but I'm curious about if you had more scenes between the father and the son originally in the script or in the movie. If there were any scenes that been cut out.
I don't remember that, but I do remember there was a scene in the car going to the courthouse was longer, with more dialogue.
You're on.
Anyway, no, I don't think we cut anything, because it was a tight shoot, a tight schedule.
All right, thanks.
There's a
We
question.
also had
here.
another father, was a Hal Holbrook figure, so we had three father figures. Hal Holbrook was based a bit on my father.
All right.
Hi, Mr. Stone. My name is Frank. And I was thinking, have you ever considered shooting a movie in 3D? Or what do you think generally about this new technique? I mean, not in the way the majority of Hollywood does it, using as a gimmick, throwing things in your eyes, but using as an art form, like Scorsese did in Hugo.
Well, I wasn't wild about that movie. If I saw one more 3D shot through a window of a station, I think I would have committed. Too much playing with depth of field becomes boring if it's not done for a story. Story. Where was the story? I don't know. If I saw that cop come around the corner with that fucking Doberman Pinscher one more time, I didn't follow the story. So that's what's important, the story. The best 3D I saw was Avatar, and he had a story.
Yeah, that
Whatever
was
you
good.
think of it, he had a great story. So give me story first. If I can do it in 3D, I would, but it's going to cost a third as much by the time you finish. It's a huge pain in the ass. But it's worth it if you think the movie plays in 3D. But if you're going to just do it for dimensional reasons, that doesn't work either, because you get tired of it, as Hugo proves. So with Avatar, you never get tired of it, because he adapts to the story is so strong to me that you're not watching for the effects. It becomes part of your blood. Very important to do 3D well. And good story is the basis. The House of Wax, which I saw in 1953 with Vincent Price, scared the shit out of me in 3D, because it was a good story.
Thank you very much.
There's a last question here in the first row. I'm sorry, and then we make a break, and then you can continue this. No. You need the microphone. No.
Turn it on.
Switch it on. There has to be a green light on it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So I'm Daniel, and I just wanted to ask you that we were talking about casting here, and I think one of the big advantages of Wall Street, I think because it works really great, aside from the screenplay and the directing, is the cast. So I think Wall Street is great, has a great cast, and even the smallest role is great. So I think the woman who sells the apartment to Charlie Sheen was greatly cast, and all the characters. And I wanted to ask you what is your casting technique, or what is your casting process?
Very normal. I hire a casting agent. She, he reads the script. We've obviously thought about it before that. We've thought about it as we as we write the script. We draw our own lists, but we don't think of everybody. The casting agent generally thinks about more people, so the net widens. But often you will go out and get a cast member before the process starts. Sometimes you get an actor to commit to the movie before the studio green lights it. So that the casting agent sometimes comes in a little bit later, after the key roles are chosen. In this case, I did go to Warren Beatty and Richard Gere, and they both passed at various phases. And then I went to Michael, who was not as known a figure, because he was more considered a light romantic action hero. Streets of San Francisco, a softer guy. And Charlie Sheen was the star because I worked with him on Platoon, and he was the hot young actor, you understand. So Charlie made the movie. Michael Douglas was a choice. The studio wasn't sure at all, so they went with it. And the rest, followed from there. So the casting process is, I see the actors over as little as possible. If I like it one time, it saves a lot of time. I try to see fewer and fewer actors, because you look at tape now, you look at computer, you have methods of seeing. You have to use your intuition. There's nothing more horrible than to bring in an actor and not give him the role because he hates you forever. Some of them do. And you don't want to make enemies, Sometimes the casting process is, they're looking at you more than you're looking at them. They're auditioning you. So it's a very difficult process, and it's hurtful. You have to be careful and sensitive. The smaller roles are also very important. I try to see as few as possible now, because I don't want to have to go through that pain. Actors are very sensitive about it, and I understand why. They're out there and they're putting themselves on the line, and he doesn't like me. He didn't even look at me. Blah blah blah. They're very sensitive to some stuff. And some of the older actors, I can't blame them either. They don't want to audition anymore. They think their work's out there. But sometimes you do need that human feeling. Can I work with this person? Most of the time, I've had very good working relationships, but there's always that 5% that go wrong.